Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the STEM Capstone Virtual Student Presentation event. My name is Tamer Memkij, and I am the Network Administrator for the Hawthorne Public Schools, and I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Before we get started with our event, I just want to welcome our panel of Board of Education members, school administrators, and professional engineers. At the end of the student presentations, we invite you to participate in our question and answer session, where you will be able to speak directly with our presenters. To ask a question, simply raise your hand by clicking the raise hand button located on the bottom of your screen. I will then acknowledge you and enable you to speak with our panel of presenters. I would also like to remind our panel of presenters to please mute and disable your camera when your speaking parts are completed during the presentation. During our questions and answer session, I will ask you to unmute and re-enable your camera as we open the floor to our questions. Lastly, I would like to thank all of our parents, students, and community members who are watching this event live on YouTube for their support. Without further ado, I'd like to invite our Director of Education, Dr. Kristen Trebona, to start our presentation.
Thank you, Tamer. Welcome, everyone, and good afternoon. I would like to take a moment to welcome everyone to Hawthorne High School's first inaugural STEM Capstone presentation. I am so excited that we were able to continue with this event in the virtual world. We need to recognize the hard work that has been done by our STEM Capstone students. Josh, Patty, Marley, Alex, and Callie. I have had the opportunity to work closely with each of you during this project. I am beyond proud of both your work ethic and your dedication. Each of you have demonstrated a deep understanding of the STEM field, and this is highlighted in your exceptional work. I wish you the best as you enter the next phase in your educational career and know that you will all continue to shine. At this time, I would like to introduce Mrs. Cheryl Pasquale, our STEM supervisor and the person responsible for this capstone opportunity for the Hawthorne High School students.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Cheryl Pasquale, supervisor of the Hawthorne School District STEM program. I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to share this overview of the inaugural year of the Hawthorne High School STEM Capstone project called the SEAM application for microscopy. This independent learning project that began almost 1 year ago has given me the privilege to guide an exceptional group of senior students through a collaborative venture in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I'm proud not only of their hard work, determination, and persistence, but also of the fact that their pioneering work laid a strong foundation to build on as this program moves forward each year. Without further ado, I would like to introduce you to our computer science teacher and the capstone leader, Mrs. Michelle Phibbs. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle Phibbs. I teach math and computer science at the high school, and it's been my honor to work with such an amazing group of students and to see the progress they made with really very little help from the teachers and the advisors in completing such an amazing app. And now, Josh, you guys are on.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joshua Kabuski. I was the lead programmer for the SEAM application, and I'll be attending NJIT next year.
Hi, everyone. I'm Patty. I will be attending Marist College next year, majoring in accounting. For this project, I was the lead biologist and lab technicians. I worked on creating the labs for our app.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alex. I'm going to be attending Brown University next year, majoring in English, and my main role in this project was being the reference lab technician and the graphic artist.
Hi everyone, I'm Marley. Next year I will be attending George Washington University, majoring in chemistry and computer science. And for this project, I was the reference lab technician as well, helping to make fun activities to get kids started in the app. And I also helped research various topics to help everyone else's roles run more smoothly.
Hi everyone, I'm Callie McCarthy. This fall I'm going to be attending Virginia Tech and I plan on majoring in engineering. And then for this project, I was an educational lab technician, so I worked along Patty in helping to create the labs.
I'd like to tell you a little bit of the story of how our whole project began. Nearly a year ago, we went to a STEM tank competition together as a school, representing an innovative product called Eco Carton. While we were there, we took home first place, but we also took home valuable connections. One such connection was with the company Laxco. Laxco designs digital microscopes like the one you see on the screen. It's a new field in the microscopy sector, and it really helps integrate the growing technology that we see today and are more comfortable with to applications in the STEM field. And our connection with Laxco allowed us to have this great opportunity to work alongside them and try to develop an application for the microscopy field using a digital microscope. We came back over the summer after doing some research and looking into the opportunity and worked together as a team to begin our Capstone project.
Capstone project is simply a culmination of all your learnings. You take what you know and apply it to a final project. It gives you the opportunity to work at your own pace, design your own class, and work on a project that you're truly passionate about and want to delve deeper into. For us, this was the SEAM application. And now we have a short video that shows just a glimpse into what each day was like on the project for Alex, Josh, and I.
It's day 974. We're outside because it's nice. I've been working on one of the last reference activities with the microscope parts. Josh?
I convert a lot of files, and now the middle school lab is fully uploaded and ready to be installed onto the app tomorrow.
Capstone period 5, checking in. Josh is working out some important technical things. Here you have the app, a little sneak peek for you.
Then you have to go down to developer ops.
Marley and I recently worked on a little photo shoot. We took some pictures of the SEBA and the regular microscope on a green screen. I learned some Photoshop skills, and we're gonna finish that up for a reference activity. With every project, there's successes and failures. And right now, Josh is going through it. Josh, any comments?
We were thriving like 2 minutes.
Everything is a learning experience. There's no such thing as failure.
Oh, okay. Challenges that need to be overcome.
Yeah, well, he's obviously going to because he's just like queen coder.
There you go. Last words? Yeah, Josh?
For the day.
Josh?
And now, after many months of work, we are pleased to now present our completed application. The SEAM application was created with the goal of making microscopy more interesting to students in mind. We hope to make them or help them develop better lab skills and become more excited about exploring the world around them across all age levels. We believe that the combination of fun activities for exploration, reference activities for learning, and labs to bridge the gap between learning and exploration does just that. Through our application, they can easily become engaged in the world of STEM, inspired by the possibility to learn more, and educated about how the world around them works on a microscopic level.
I want to share with you a little bit about our journey here. We started coding this project with no sufficient background knowledge in the development environment. I personally have never used Android Studio, so when I was learning to design this app, I was learning everything from the ground up. I learned all the basics and everything that was necessary to build this application. And there were hiccups along the way. There were many difficulties, but everything we found a way to overcome. And it was a great learning experience. And it really helped build the experience of the capstone. Here's an example of one of the better features that our app offers. It's cross-platform compatible. This is extremely important because this allows our app to go beyond just the SIBA microscope. It allows anyone in any classroom who has any kind of device to download our app, install it, and use it with their phones and a simple accessory that they can find online. This makes it a lot more accessible, especially for schools on a budget. And it really allows us to reach our audience a lot better. The main feature that I'd like to highlight today is the compare screen on the SEAM application. The compare screen allows students or any user to look at the sample that they're observing under the microscope, which you can see an example of on the left side square, and compare it to known samples that we've documented on the right. And as they go through, they can reference multiple different slides that we've captured and see different samples to see if what they're looking at really is what they're looking for during their lab activity. Included in the SEAM app, we also have a multitude of labs, including labs for the elementary, middle, and high school. And it also allows the user to participate with reference activities and use the app for its full screen capability in the camera mode to see in more detail what we're trying to see through the microscope.
So one of the biggest components of our app are the reference activities, which are just these general activities, which include a detailed diagram of a microscope, a tutorial on focusing, the procedure for making slides, and just some fun elementary labs. And the goal of these activities is to teach students the necessary knowledge and skills to effectively use microscopes. Originally, they were planned to be built into the curriculum at the elementary level, but we drew from our own personal experiences and realized that students at all age levels need access to resources to help them either learn or keep up their microscopy skills. So the goal of these separate activities is that a student of any age can jump into our app, get a crash course on all the little details and procedures they need to know, and then really delve into any lab they want. And connecting to the concept of a capstone, these activities once again expose us to a lot of new skills we originally had no experience with. For example, Marley and I ended up taking photos of microscopes on a green screen, as you can see on the slideshow. We photoshopped backgrounds and then inserted graphics onto the images, the final product being in the app, of course. And this was a really editing heavy project for us, as we never been exposed to these Photoshop skills before. And I bring this up once again to highlight Josh's previous point, that the goal of this project was not just to design an education for others, but learn something ourselves.
After being able to brush up on their microscopy skills, users of our app are introduced to 3 main labs. These labs were originally just an idea for the functionality of the app, but with further research, they turned into so much more. When initiating the process of deciding what to actually make the labs about, we looked at the National Science Educational Standards. We chose 3 levels, elementary, middle, and high school respectively. The labs then were created to support the standard from each of the 3 levels individually. The labs build upon each other as the information from previous labs is helpful for the next. The elementary school lab was mainly focused on the idea that plants get the materials they need for growth chiefly from air and water. This lab highlighted the differences in the banana cell appearance after being exposed to air for a period of time. It also examined the variations in cell structure when looking at red onion cells as opposed to banana cells. This was to give a succinct introduction to the fact that everything is made up of cells and they differ from plant to plant and to animal. This lab was more observational to help students grasp a general understanding of cells. The next lab, the middle school lab, was mainly focused on the function of the cell as a whole and the ways that the parts of the cell contribute to the overall function. This lab highlighted the adapting nature of cell structures in different environments by concentrating on chloroplasts in the Elodia plants. The samples of the plants were placed in saltwater, distilled water, and their natural water, and then the states of their respective chloroplasts were observed. When they were in salt water, the chloroplasts migrated to the center of the cell. When they were placed in distilled water, they spread throughout the cell, and when in their natural water, they stuck to the perimeter of the cell. The third lab, the high school lab, was mainly focused on the idea that feedback mechanisms maintain homeostasis. This lab highlighted the adaptation of stomata when exposed to different amounts of lights using 2 different plants, one being a stomata were observed in number and their nature of being closed or open in regard to the amount of the light. This lab concentrated on the flexibility and adaptability that these feedback mechanisms take on when placed in different environments in regard to sunlight exposure.
To make sure that these labs would be useful to the client, we decided to field test each one to make sure that it was good for the targeted demographic. For each field test, the 5 of us took field trips to the other schools in our district to show them the labs that we were working on. When we arrived at each school the morning of, we set up the microscopes and printed out a lab for each kid. Before we had them begin, we gave the kids a mini lesson on what they would be investigating in the lab as a teacher would beforehand to make it like a real-life classroom experience. When they started, we would go around and help them if they had any problems, and we used this along with the surveys we gave the kids afterwards to make sure that the lab was understandable and doable for that demographic. We also went around and asked a couple design questions for easy access on the labs, such as placement of a certain icon, as well as some graphic choices, which leads us into our next topic.
So obviously, no matter where this app was going to end up, whether it was at a conference, in a SIBA microscope, on an app store, or the presentation, we wanted to make sure that it was really marketable. So something that we really focused on was making sure it was aesthetically appealing and colorful and attracted young students, who is obviously our primary audience. And as a result, I ended up downloading Adobe Illustrator, giving myself a 2-week free trial period to not only learn all of its functions, but design an app logo, a loading screen, app icons, and such, yeah. And this is a really challenging experience, but something I would generally say I got a lot out of as someone that is interested in arts and graphic design. It was just another element that the capstone really allowed us to explore. And that is the ultimate goal of a capstone, to give the students a chance to learn what they want.
So this being the first year that the capstone project was run, there were definitely some kinks in the plan. While we learned about a variety of topics from coding to illustrating and made many good memories along the way, we would definitely change some things if we had to do it all again. In the future, we would like to see the program extend outside of just the STEM world to make it appeal to a much wider array of students at HHS. However, one of our biggest concerns was regarding the structure of our project. It was difficult to create a project without input from the overseeing companies. We would definitely like to see more communication between the two parties. And even within our group, we realized that there should have been more defined roles from the very beginning, as it would have helped us avoid hangups concerning who would take on what tasks. We would say that having this foundation from the beginning would have greatly streamlined the progress of our project. Finally, we would say having designated teachers to help us along the way would have been very useful. Although we could ask our teachers and advisors for aid, it often took away from their classes and personal life, which is not what we hope to do. A designated teacher, we believe, would help provide even more structure and give us a person to turn to when issues arose that we could not resolve on our own. However, we are confident that as this program expands and develops in the future, it will allow for all of these improvements as more, truly granting students the opportunity to become immersed in their interests for at least one period every day.
Thank you all for attending our presentation. And now we want to open up to any questions you may have. If you could click the participants screen and then raise your hand, we can answer any of your questions.
Good job, everyone. Real quickly to our panelists, if you can unmute and if you haven't already done so, unmute and enable your cameras. And we have some questions coming in here. So if you just give me a minute here, we'll get our panelists set and we'll bring in our first question. All right, Ms. Weger, you have the floor.
First and foremost, excellent job. I'm so proud of all of you. I know how much hard work you put into this all year. My question is, what feedback or recommendations do you have for future STEM capstone students?
I would say that you definitely, when doing this project, you have to find what you're interested in and help apply it. Because for Alex, he wants to go into English, and yet we worked on a STEM project, obviously, but in it, he was still able to find something that he enjoyed, and that really helped us push forward in making progress on the app. So find what you love and force it into the project, I guess.
Excellent. Any other attendees? If you'd like to ask a question, you can click that raise hand button on the bottom of your screen. And oh, we have another one coming in here.
Oh, you've definitely, my name is Anton Rukaver. I own TechLink in Riverdale, New Jersey, a technology services company. I'm a 1986 graduate of Hawthorne High School. So you've definitely set the bar very high for next year's class. You did a fantastic job in your presentation. I think you actually handed it off to one another exceptionally well, too. One of the points that you made that I think can't be overemphasized is establishing a relationship with a liaison at the sponsor company that you have regular contact with, and you get that kind of feedback so that you know that you're treading the path that they want you to tread, as well as covering the educational aspects that you want to cover for the students as well.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a few more questions coming in here. Let's see. Mr. Mazaka is on his way in here.
Hello, everybody. Congratulations, you did an outstanding job. I'm very, very proud of all of you and the work that you did. And I know that this was really, really challenging for all of you, because I remember when we were back in school watching you guys running around the hallways, running into your lab in my old office and getting stuff done. And I know walking by, seeing you guys stressed out and trying to get everything done, I'm really, really proud of everything you guys have done. But, you know, I heard Josh in part of the video talking about, you're not failing, it's just a challenge here. So what do you think after all this was like the most gratifying thing that you guys got out of this? Like, what did you guys get the most out of with this whole project?
I think I learned a lot on like teaching myself, because I had to do a lot of biology labs, and last time I took biology was freshman year. So I researched a lot and learned like a lot of like, not even just like the student aspect of it, like the teacher aspect too, like how they make the labs and like how they incorporate the standards and stuff. So I think I got a lot of like self-teaching out of it. That's what I would say I got from it.
Yeah, I would say that we definitely saw this project from a different perspective, not really as students, but having to create things that kind of gives you a glimpse into the real world. And personally, it just kind of gave me a sense of, wow, we actually made something, because when we put it on the SIBO for the first time, it was like, oh my gosh, like this is real, it's actually happening.
For me, it was the hands-on learning experience and actually getting to see something that I made having a real world application, and how I could apply things that I was interested in or that I wanted to pursue in further education to actual jobs or future applications that can benefit others.
Yeah, I agree with Josh. It was really amazing to see when we went to the other schools, to see the kids working on the labs that we created and see them have fun with it and like do well with it.
I really appreciated just being able to do what we wanted, like have that independence, and like working on those little logos and taking those pictures on the green screen and then editing the backgrounds. It was just, I was doing stuff that I would never do in any of my other academic classes. So that I just really appreciated the ability to do that.
Well, thank you again, guys. And again, I say, thank you so much for everything you did. It's a great job. And I thank you for laying the groundwork for future students to get involved in this project. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have Mr. Clavijo coming in.
Hello, everybody. No question from my end. I just want to congratulate you on raising the bar. Huh? Great job, and hopefully we'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have Mr. Doyle. Mr. Doyle, your microphone is muted. Bear with us 1 second. Let's just make sure.
How's that?
There you go. You're on.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Congratulations. You guys did a fantastic job. So glad to see you guys saw this right through to the end. For some of you that don't know, I'm a police officer, and I actually do a lot of forensic work, and I get to use a microscope on a day-to-day basis. So this whole program intrigued me from the very beginning. Although the work I do is quite different than what you're doing with this, it was still very intriguing to me. And again, I'm so glad to see you guys did such a great job with this. I really don't have any questions for you. Again, all to the teachers, your staff, and on all your students, you guys absolutely set this bar very high. And the fact that you've all been accepted to some outstanding colleges, I see very, very bright things in your future. Congrats again, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have Ms. Barada. Ms. Barada, hold on, your microphone is muted. There you go.
Sorry. Hey guys, I just want to say congratulations. That was really, really fun to watch and to see what you guys came up with. So you're all going into different content areas, which is great. And so this wasn't just about content, but what advice would you give to next year's group about organization and delegation? Because group projects aren't always easy. So what advice would you give
I
them?
would say communication and to budget your time wisely, not leave everything for last minute. And also like just to communicate with who you're working with, figure out like who's doing what, when you're going to get it due and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would say keeping pretty strict deadlines definitely helped us at times, because when you're relying on another person to get your part done, it becomes frustrating when it just keeps getting pushed back. But yeah, it was challenging with 2 different classes to get this project as one culmination. So I'd say communication was definitely important.
Absolutely. Deadlines with deliverables and being able to keep things on track, staying in touch with each other and communicating was the most important thing. You can't reiterate that enough.
Yeah. All of our roles, we kind of flowed into each other, but we still kept communicating to make sure that we were working together, not apart.
I have nothing to add to that, but everything else is said.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bear with us. We have a couple more questions. All right, next up, we have Mr. Cunningham.
Hey guys, not so much a question, but really just a comment. And you guys made us extremely proud from, when you started this last year with the beginning with STEM Tank and the support that we got from Mrs. Pasquale, Dr. Trebona, and especially Mrs. Phibbs, who I know was running around like a mad woman from time to time, trying to get everything sorted out and keeping you guys on task. But she did a fantastic job, Mrs. Phibbs, and I really want to say thank you to her. And to you guys, I just want to echo what Mr. Doyle had mentioned about the colleges and universities that you guys will be attending. I mean, it's the top of the line for technical, Ivy League student, George Washington, NJIT, Marist College, Virginia Tech. I mean, the best of the best. So you make me extremely proud. You guys did a fantastic job. Keep up the great work. I'm hoping we get to see you guys soon, so we kind of celebrate this. But keep up the great effort, the great job, and continue to make us proud.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have Mr. Brislin.
Mute. Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brislin.
First, I want to congratulate you for doing such a wonderful job. Again, all your hard work, truly amazing, really amazing. The one question I have, and one of the things that you guys talked about was, learning Photoshop, learning Adobe, learning to code, all those different things. How do you think, in reality, getting away from your comfort zone and learning something new, how do you think that's going to benefit you, moving forward in the future?
I would say, I'm speaking for Alex here because he had to do the most learning, and Josh as well. I'd say that it definitely gave us the taste of the real world, because we're not always going to have a teacher sitting with us and helping us go over, this is step by step how you do it. We kind of had to go on the internet, research a little bit, and combine what we knew already to help us bring it all together.
Yeah, it was really nerve-wracking taking on something like that, just because I didn't know if maybe I can't use Adobe Illustrator, I don't know, but it proved to me that I am capable of doing that and just learning on my own. So I think just carrying that with me for the next 4 years and pushing myself, because I know I can do it, that's
absolutely
keeping that in mind.
Awesome. Very good. Congratulations again, and a wonderful job, and best of luck to all of you in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up, we have Mr. Fabrizio Torres.
Hello, Fabrizio.
Let's see, is he muted? There you go.
Hi. So nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I'm a 2017 Hawthorne graduate, currently right there, NJIT. I know, Joshua, you're going to go there. Hopefully I'll see you in the fall. So I did have a question for you guys. Now, I know each one of you had to go ahead and learn new things. How did you learn what you needed to learn for this app? And what was the coolest thing you learned?
Josh, do you want to start?
YouTube videos. I watched a lot of YouTube videos on labs, like for the educational side. I watched putting plants under microscopes and looking at chloroplasts. I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and the coolest thing I learned, probably, I don't even know. It was all cool.
Yeah, what Patty said, I just watched a lot of online tutorials on just random functions and stuff. And I also had Mr. D there, so anytime I had a question, I could always go to our digital media teacher and just ask him something really quickly, and he could always show me the ropes. So that was really nice, having teachers at the school that were so willing to help. And I'm sure Josh would agree with Ms. Phibbs.
Yes, it was absolutely a fantastic experience working with Miss Phibbs. She was a major help. But the majority of the stuff that I learned, I got from reading the Android Studio documentation and really starting to understand from the ground up how the system works. And that was really a great experience for me. I think the most interesting thing that I learned would be how to make things scalable and responsive in design, because that's really important with anything you design, that it works on all different devices. That was what I thought was most interesting.
I personally can't think of one specific thing, considering I was researching for a lot of different parts, but I would definitely say the coding was my favorite to research, just because I have an interest in it. And for me, coding is kind of separate from seeing something on a screen just in my head. So to see it like transform from just code to an actual picture was just very interesting.
Yeah, I agree with Patty too. We both watched a lot of YouTube videos on how to do things, and it was just interesting to learn how to be on the other side of things because we're used to being students. So it was fun learning the teacher's point of view.
Thank you. I was really impressed with all your work here, and I see great things in your future for sure.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right. I'm not seeing any other questions. If anyone has any questions, just want to remind you, you can click the raise hand button. Give it a few seconds here. All right. I think that might be all of our questions.
All right, if there are no further questions, we would just like to extend a very big thank you to Mrs. Pasquale, Mrs. Phibbs, and Mrs. Strabona, all of whom worked right beside us to help us develop this program and went above and beyond to do things for us when we asked.
Yeah, and a really big thanks to Mr. Cunningham, just all of our buildings administrators for giving us the freedom to do this and just learn so independently. Mr. Sprito, obviously, the Board of Education, just everyone that helped us, and all of you that watched, because without everyone's help, this couldn't have been possible. So now, Mr. Sprito wants to say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. I just want to take a moment to say a few things. Number one, I want to thank everybody who attended, whether it be as an attendee in our webinar or watching us on YouTube right now. We appreciate the support and that you being there for our students. I also want to take a moment to also thank Mrs. Phibbs, Dr. Trabona, and our STEM supervisor, Mrs. Pasquale. You know, the fact that you've established something that had never existed here at Hawthorne High School is amazing. And the guidance and support that you provided to these students is truly outstanding. I'm sure this would have not, I mean, I know this would not have happened without the work that you've put into this and establishing this program. So thank you, thank you, thank you. It's fantastic, and I'm excited about the future. And finally, students, I have to tell you, you know, this is not my first time seeing this, not this presentation, but hearing about this project, but you guys continue to impress me. I thought you did an outstanding job, not just today, but throughout this entire year. I can't tell you how proud I am, how impressed I am. The fact that you guys were so self-motivated and dedicated to this, and the work that you have created is exceptional. It's truly exceptional. So thank you, guys. You have definitely set the bar extremely high for future groups, for sure. But, you know, I just want to thank you for all the time and effort and hard work and all that you've accomplished. And I wish you all nothing but the best. I hope that we will see you in person again before the end of the school year. I really do. But I want to wish you guys all the best in college. I know that you're going to be successful no matter where you're going, and you're all going to amazing schools next year. And I know that you're all going to be successful. So congratulations and great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.